but we're gonna read through the first one, which technically came out after the TWID, but I also think this is incredibly important because there's a very interesting response to this. As far as Pete Parsons, everybody knows Pete Parsons, the CEO, whatever you want to call him, of Bungie, has been for a very long time. He's retiring. Now, there's been a fair amount of people that have wondered whether or not his retiring has been a mutual retiring or a Sony specific forcing of being retired. I don't know one way or the other, though. No way or the other. But I do find it interesting regardless. Which way it is. I mean, it could be one way. He could have got kicked out. Sony could have came in and said, I will say, ever since that news came out, like what, a week ago or 2 weeks ago, that Sony was becoming more hands-on with Bungie, I do find it interesting that within a couple of weeks of Sony deciding to step in and be a bit more aggressive with how they handle Bungie, that Pete Parsons is retiring or stepping down or what have you. You know, either way, they man's getting a fat retirement bonus. I don't know why people are celebrating that hard. They call it the golden parachute, and I wouldn't be surprised if the golden parachute is, you know, I don't know. I want to read it because I kind of skimmed it earlier, but I didn't read the entire thing, which it isn't really long at all. Isn't really long at all. A message from Pete Parsons, which I'm actually curious if anyone knows, when is the last time Pete Parsons has come out and spoke to the Bungie community himself in any form of posting? I would love to know when's the last time he created a post in his, you know, in his words, where probably somebody edited it down and stuff, you know. To the Bungie community, after more than 2 decades of helping build this incredible studio, establishing the Bungie Foundation, and growing inspiring communities around our work, I have decided to pass the torch. This journey has been the honor of a lifetime. I am deeply proud of the worlds we've built together and the millions of players who call them home. And most of all, I am privileged by the opportunity to work alongside the incredible minds at Bungie. When I asked to lead Bungie in 2015, my goal was to grow us into a studio capable of creating and sustaining iconic generation-spanning entertainment. We've been through so much together. So he started in 2015, which is Taken King. So he started around the time Taken King. Okay. The future of Bungie will be in the hands of a new generation of leaders, and I'm thrilled to announce that Justin Truman will be stepping into the leadership as Bungie's new studio head. We've launched a bold new chapter for Destiny, built an inviolable, independent live ops organization capable of creating and publishing its own games, and joined the incredible family at Sony Entertainment, or Sony Interactive Entertainment. So I kind of skipped over that part. I'm thrilled to announce that Justin Truman will be stepping into the leadership as Bungie's new studio head. I have worked alongside Justin for many years, His passion for our games, our team, and our players is unmatched. As a leader in engineering, production, and design, and most recently as a general manager of Destiny 2 and our chief development officer, he has been instrumental in bringing some of the most memorable moments in Bungie's history to life. He lives and breathes the studio, and I have full confidence that he is the right person to lead Bungie forward. Thank you for being the best, most passionate community in gaming. It has been a privilege to serve you. As for me, I'd be the second star to the right and straight on to the morning. Isn't that a Peter Pan reference? I've heard that, and it has to be from Peter Pan. It sounds like the thing he says for Neverland. I'm not tripping, right? That's gotta be Peter Pan. His last sign off is the phrase from Peter Pan. All right, moving on. A message from Justin Truman. In the 15 years I've been a developer at Bungie, I've worn a lot of different hats. As an engineer, I wrote some code I'm really proud of for our original weapons, abilities, and networking in Destiny 1. As a designer, I helped craft many of our Destiny 2 systems, including some of the in-game systems I got terribly wrong at D2 launch. As a producer, I helped our team build and roll out Destiny's first seasons. So like what was it? Season of the Outlaw, and like Season of the Forge, and Season of the Guardian, or like the Gambit. I guess he did those seasons. More recently, I've helped with our overall talent strategy as Chief Development Officer, and I've been helping the Marathon team as we build our next world. So he had originally left the Destiny side of things to start working on Marathon, and now they're bringing him back to not take over Marathon, and now to take on Destiny specifically, or I guess Bungie as a whole. Across all these different roles, Bungie's purpose has stayed clear. We create worlds that inspire friendship. When we're at our best, we create those worlds alongside you, our player community, and build something that matters. Something that's worth your time, your passion, your investment in us. Something that I've learned hopefully over-delivers. The fact that he uses this word obviously is a callback to him doing that games studio conference where he talks about never over delivering to your community. I've also been a part of these efforts at Bungie when we've maybe not been at our best. When we stumbled and realized through listening to our community that we had missed the mark. I know I've personally learned a lot over the years, as have all of us here, from those conversations. I am committed to supporting and working alongside every member of the team here as we continue pouring out our hearts and souls into these worlds. Worlds that we love and that we hope have been worth your time and your passion. Because ultimately, those worlds only exist and thrive with you in them. We are hard at work right now doing that, both Marathon and Destiny. We're currently heads down, but we'll have more to show you in both of these worlds later this year. In closing, I know I can speak for all of Bungie when I say I appreciate your passion, your perspective, and the time you spend with us. Studio head, Mr. Justin Trudeau. Imagine? Oh my god. Zero, thank you for the tier 1. Imagine Mr. Trudeau. He's gotta change his name, man. It's too close to Mr. Prime Minister over there. Hey, I think even Trudeau probably does a better job than Pete Parsons had the last couple years. I will say, first thing I think when I first read about this news when I woke up was that out of all the people to take his place, I personally don't think the one that needed to take his place is Justin Truman. Only because having worked so closely to Pete Parsons, and both of them have almost at the same time risen in the ranks and worked together, I don't think there's a big enough separation from Truman than it is from Pete Parsons. Especially in the more recent years, as far as like pushing the game in one way or the other. The other interesting thing is that after this came out, you might have expected the entire Destiny community to be out in the streets celebrating the death of Hitler. As if like a flip was instantly going to be switched, and then like we were going to get showered with every single thing, you know. All of a sudden they were to come out with a post every day saying we're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing this, we're doing that. Here's 1,800 rays. DCV is a thing no more, you know. You can get a billion silver per month just for saying hello Bungie. You know, I personally think Justin Truman has done a lot of good work for Destiny. However, I do think that there is a very big chance a lot won't change. Just because of how much they worked together. And if you work with someone for a very long time, you're going to have obviously disagreements, but also a lot of same philosophies, same ideologies regarding how to produce a title. And if you're just pulling up the next person who has kind of already been shaped in Pete Parsons' image, you know, that's kind of like, I'm willing to wait and see. But like, I still think I wouldn't be surprised if not much change. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm curious whether or not it was a Pete Parsons led decision or a Sony led decision, because again, it's very interesting that Sony decides to step in and become more aggressive with changing the way Bungie operates, and within a couple weeks this comes out. So it's just very interesting. But he's also done a lot of really great things when he was a developer, when he was a producer. But like he said, he's also done a lot of the bad things as well. A lot of what Destiny 2 originally came with is his original work, like he said. A lot of the in-game stuff as well. He's also the guy that unfortunately went out and told at a games developer conference a few years ago that you shouldn't over-deliver. You shouldn't over-deliver to your community, because then you're going to set unrealistic expectations. I do think that is a twofold title, because obviously if they personally feel that Forsaken was a unmanageable feat, since Forsaken is like the standard for the Bungie community, if that was and is a unmanageable thing to do year over year, then something's gotta give, you know. Yes, it was never supposed to technically come out. But when one developer is telling you this is how we keep making our game, and telling other developers that you should also, you know, instead of putting other content out, just not over deliver, you know. A while ago strings with Pete the past few years. I know he's also out there for the beat on with DMG. It has to be one person to do the charity work. The charity work is one of the good things I think he's always done. Like all those charities, like we talked about it on the podcast last week. That's a no-brainer. All that stuff is fantastic. I also personally don't think Bungie's Destiny is in as bad of a state as a lot of people make it out to be. Personally, a lot of the systems, my issue has always been a lot of the systems have so much potential to be really, really good and really, really fun, but they always choose to force the player to limitations, and also for them to decide how much you can have fun. You know, that's all. If there's been multiple times for the last 11 years that a system has come out, content has come out, it's been really fun, really good, and then they decide when you can stop having fun in that content, in that product. Instead of just allowing you to decide when you're done with it. You know what I'm saying? That's always been the biggest thing. And then when something bad comes out, or when something is underwhelming, they will swing super hard on the other way, but also not just fix it. They'll always put some other caveat, you know, which is always very interesting. And that's a historical thing. That's been with Justin in a lot of these positions, and that's been with Pete in a lot of these positions. I think it's a good thing that Pete's stepping down. Just to close, I think Pete stepping down is a good thing, but I don't think it is the what's the phrase they use? The night is darkest just before the dawn type of situation. I don't think we're like going to be out of the woods in regard to like whatever issues players have had, you know, and issues that players have had for a long time. And I don't think that a lot of players are going to, that have left, are going to see this and be like, oh, well, now I'll come back to the game because Pete's gone. This is a much bigger issue, and I've said it for a while, it's been a much bigger issue than simply Pete. It's a good first step. We gotta wait and see. If Justin decides to come in the next 6 months and just, then I will be the first to get up and clap. But shrug. Who knows? I do think it's very interesting. I do think that a lot of the community needs to hold off on just praising this as the best thing ever. Just gotta wait and see. It's gonna be tough, you know.